Chapter 7. The March into Eternity. Jimmy's Journal. It was hard to leave the peaceful Aix-les-Bains. We are now headed to war. Up till now, there were only stories told secondhand from soldiers who survived the front. Now it's our turn to gulp down this sour red wine. I'm hearing that the Germans like to crucify captured soldiers, and they really like to slit throats. And now I know why we need gas masks. From this train's window, all I see is destruction for miles on end. Entire villages hollowed out. Farmland burned to a crisp. Long strips of barbed wire stretched out for miles. I see thousands of little crosses and flags marking the graves of both French and German soldiers. They will sleep in eternity, all mixed in together. No nations, just souls. Where does the music fit into this story now? Forbes, David, and Fox talked in a private train car. Forbes rolled up a map. He looked at David. Do you think that Peyton is ready for this type of mission? Ready or not, he's stuck like glue to David, Fox joked. David elbowed Fox. I'll take him. He's very alert. Then so be it, Forbes said. He's your responsibility. Dismissed. And Godspeed. David and Fox made their way out of Forbes' car and slid open doors to the next compartment. It was full of AEF soldiers. David made a point of scanning their faces for any disrespect. He found none, as most of the soldiers were staring out of their windows at ever-increasing devastation. David had seen much of this before, so it didn't shake him quite as much. Do you know if Giselle's band left the resort? Fox asked from behind. David felt his heart stop for a moment, but he kept moving forward from car to car. Don't know. I'm not her manager. More to the point, you already know, intelligencer, so why don't you fill me in, David snapped. Look, I'm just looking out for you, man, Fox said. I can't find any record of their service to the army. She said Frenchie is an officer, but I've been asking around. David spun around on Fox. No need to ask around. It's irrelevant. We won't likely be seeing any of them again. Especially that motherfucker Terry. The train made a brief stop in an unknown location at dawn. As the rest of the regiment slept, David, Jimmy, and the Terrible Three exited the train quietly with bags and weapons. The train pulled away. A French soldier pulled up in a truck, and the strike team jumped in. David mailed a letter to Giselle's last known location at the resort. He was sure she was long gone, but he tried all the same. David's note to Giselle. Dearest Giselle, I understand your fear. I was just as unprepared for this as you, but I can't be brave for us both. Let me tell you what I saw the other day. On our way to this town, we passed by a little church. It was hollowed out by bombs, but it was still standing, somehow. No one will be going out there to pray ever again. The landmines took care of that. We had a soldier leading us past the church with a metal detector. Poor soul had lost a bet, so it was his job for the day. He was sweating a river. As we made our way through there, a little bird swooped in and landed on top of the empty door frame. We watched each other as I carefully passed by. We wanted to ask each other the same thing. What are you doing here? I thought about the grand ceremony that was waiting for me back home, and God is my witness, I didn't want any of that. The bridesmaids, the groomsmen, the flowers, the ribbons, all the things she went on about. I didn't give a damn if Auntie Evelyn or Auntie Pauline wanted to sing at the wedding. Neither one of them could hold a note if their lives depended on it. I owed Ruth a wedding, though. It's what you do when you have a great gal with so much to offer, right? especially when she knows you're still a work in progress, yet she's willing to work you up. She was going to make a better man out of me, but there I was, standing in that bombed out sanctuary, imagining a wedding with you instead. Let's get to that church someday, just you, me, and that little blue bird. Maybe God will choose to return by then. You and I will hold hands, and our vows will come straight from our hearts. I bet the war will even pause for this union of two souls who found each other across the ocean. Your love called me forth from a cold, muddy trench. You are my resurrection. You make me want to write songs again. We, new song jazz, and just as timeless. Later that morning on the train, Forbes and Preach had breakfast in the command car. Preach noticed Forbes' agitation. Come on with it already, my good Captain Major, Preach said. Forbes served coffee to Preach. Need your guidance, Padre, he said. Careful, you're making me feel needed around here, Preach replied. Needed? Forbes repeated. You're still saving souls, right? The ones seeking salvation. This war is changing a lot of minds, Preach said. So, what's on yours? It's actually more of a confession. I already committed the sin. Forbes grabbed a telegram from his pocket and handed it to Preach. Preach read a few lines, then looked up in surprise. Well, this is joyous news, he said, looking perplexed. I don't see what the problem is. But wait, David and his guys are already on the ground, and you didn't give this to him? I need David focused, not worried about personal matters, Forbes said. This mission is critical. This is where they may prove themselves. Preach nodded. David's child will be proud that his daddy is a war hero. I'll pray they get to meet one day soon. 2 French soldiers guarded the entrance to a large underground outpost. David and his squad observed from the trees. Who are we picking up? Jimmy whispered. We're securing an asset who wants to switch sides, Fox said. They're holding him here. Grenade Tommy's hand twitched. He hoisted his sack of grenades higher on his shoulder. We expecting any trouble? David shook his head. When will I get to use these grenades then? When the Hellfighters reached the entrance, the soldiers saluted David and stepped to either side to let them pass. David entered and started down the ladder. Jimmy stopped at the entrance and said, Bonsoir, camarades. Grenade Tommy shoved Jimmy forward. Jimmy descended the ladder, and Fox followed. Before Grenade Tommy descended, he gave the 2 soldiers a hard stare. After Grenade Tommy's head disappeared from sight, the 2 soldiers exchanged meaningful glances. Moonlight revealed smeared blood on the bayonet blades slung over their shoulders. David walked a narrow, winding path. The squad followed closely behind, pistols drawn. The dugout was dimly lit with makeshift exposed wires connecting flickering bulbs that dangled above their heads. Small earthen cubby holes were stocked with weapons and canned rations on makeshift shelves. The dugout was eerily quiet except for their footsteps. A soldier leapt onto their path. His wild-eyed face was covered in blood. Jimmy stumbled backward into Grenade Tommy, who shoved him off. David stepped forward to collar the man, a French soldier. What is happening? Where is your commander? David demanded in French. The soldier fell over dead. David deftly guided the body to the floor. A blade protruded from the soldier's back. A man's scream reverberated around the corner, followed by a large number of footsteps. Shit! Grenade Tommy shouted. David signaled for his men to move forward toward the gunfire. The squad ran through 2 more winding hallways, then came to a complete stop upon a shocking sight. a mass of dead French soldiers. Their bodies filled one cubby. Many had been shot between the eyes, and many more had slit throats. Second line pulled out his rosary and kissed it. "Holy Mother," he breathed. The footsteps drew closer. "Leave no allies behind," one German voice shouted. David pointed ahead. "Come on." They turned another corner and found the asset, Lieutenant Didier, a French commander. He was tied to an overturned chair. His midsection had been savagely slashed and blood gushed out. David approached Lieutenant Didier and looked down into his face. Jimmy peered over David's shoulder. Fox and second line guarded the entrance. Grenade Tommy guarded David and Jimmy. "A trap," Lieutenant Didier gasped. "Your report?" David demanded in French. Lieutenant Didier's eyes fluttered shut. David shook him awoke. Jimmy winced. David shouted. Lieutenant Didier looked deeply into David's eyes. David could see the light fade within them. "Search the woman," was all he said before he took one last breath. Grenade Tommy and Jimmy exchanged cryptic glances. Second line looked out of the room and down the hall. "They coming. We gotta go now." The squad raced down the hallway. A second ladder came into view. A gas canister dropped from above. It landed on the ground, hissing and smoking. Fox stretched his arms outward to hold the men back. The men covered their noses and mouths with the insides of their elbow sleeves. David mentioned for the team to climb out first. "Go!" Jimmy, second line, Fox, and Grenade Tommy scrambled up the ladder as David provided cover. Poison gas covered the top of David's booth. Above ground, Jimmy was flat on his stomach at the outpost hatch. He frantically swept his arm down over the top rung of the ladder. The smoke continued to rise. "Where the fuck he go?" Grenade Tommy asked. Jimmy coughed. "Shit! Don't know!" Jimmy turned his head to take a deep breath of the night air before he ducked his head down deeper in the hole. Through the smoke, Jimmy saw flashes of uniforms tussling. He heard grunts, then a single gunshot. The smoke cleared to reveal David scrambling up the ladder. Tears rolled down from his tightly shut eyes. Below, the body of a German soldier lay sprawled at the foot of the ladder with a bullet hole between his eyes. Coughing, Jimmy reached down into the hole. David reached up. Two brown hands grasped each other's uniformed forearms. Nearby, Grenade Tommy bent over and coughed. He pulled a grenade from his backpack and pulled the pin. He squinted and took a picture stance. The grenade soared. Under its arc, 5 German soldiers ran for their lives in the moonlight. One of the men wore a German commander's uniform. The explosion shook the ground and sent bodies flying. Fox coughed and stumbled. His arm shook as he shot a flare into the sky. The flare revealed motionless German bodies. One German soldier lay next to his detached leg. Among the dead were the fake French soldiers from the dugout's entrance. Under that same light in the background, David rolled onto his back, dazed. He clawed at his eyes. In his sightless terror, David saw an image of Giselle. Her smile was cold. The dead lieutenant's words echoed, "Find the woman." David jumped to his feet and resumed pursuit across the craggy ground. He caught up to Grenade Tommy, who stood over the prone body of the German commander. David leaned over and recoiled in shock when he recognized an unconscious Terry. In a French Army mobile hospital tent, Fox watched David and Terry exchange glares. Terry was outstretched on a cot and his head was bandaged. Armed soldiers stood guard. "Dismissed," David told the soldiers. The soldiers saluted, then left. In his bed, Terry pulled himself into a seated position. David reached for his pistol. Terry laughed. "You would shoot a man in a hospital bed, Terry said in French. Who is she? David asked in French. Fox looked from man to man in an attempt to follow the conversation. He was a quick study, but he still needed to learn more French. The "who is she" was very clear for him, however. Fox mentally kicked himself for not having picked up on Giselle's deception. She was good, Fox thought. Terry smirked at David's question. You already know who she is. David started to lunge at Terry, then turned back. Fox waited. What's your mission? David asked. Terry squinted in mock confusion. Mission? He asked. I am just a band manager. David pointed at Terry. We'll get what we need from you soon enough. David turned to walk away. Terry called out to David's back. Perhaps, but will you never get hurt? Fool, did you think she meant any of that? David paused, then resumed walking. He stopped in the tent's doorway, but didn't turn around. I could ask you the same thing. At a French Army burial ground, the Hellfighters band performed for Lieutenant Didier's funeral with honors. Captain Major Forbes and French commanders looked on as all of the soldiers, including the AEF, saluted the sign propped up on a small table. The sign read, Lieutenant Andre Didier. Preach prayed over the sign and delivered a brief eulogy. Lieutenant Cecil, Big Jim's best friend and the drum major, a Hellfighter, soloed. He sang a French hymn and then contributed one of the Hellfighters' own selections, Flee as a Bird. As the band packed up and drifted away after the dignitaries, David walked over to Forbes. We'll retrieve his body from the dugout ASAP, Forbes said. We need to make another pass to make sure the enemy hasn't returned. Damn shame. He was a good guy. He liked boxing. At training camp, he asked if we knew Jack Johnson, David said. Forbes and David watched Jimmy with Grenade Tommy, Fox, and second line. Jimmy wiped at his eyes with a cloth. Didier said nothing of consequence before he died, Forbes asked. David's report to Forbes lacked any mention of Giselle. Looking into his friend's trusting face made David feel terrible, but he needed to buy time to clear Giselle's name. If Forbes found out about her involvement, she would become a priority target. He was dying when we got to him, David grit his teeth at his half-truth. Very well, Forbes said. I'm letting Jimmy go with you to connect with our contact in Paris, Forbes said. Terry is high level. I think he is the architect of a devastating weapon. We can't let him finish building it. He gave David a hard look. You should be here in command of your men, but I also know she may have valuable information on him. Don't make me out to be a fool, David. Do what you gotta do and get back to your regiment. From the woods, Giselle watched the funeral, and David in particular. She wore country clothes and a bonnet in disguise. She saw the captain walk away. The one called Fox joined David. Giselle took a last look, then quietly slipped away. At the roadside, Giselle jumped into a waiting car. The driver was one of her band members, Thomas. Back at the makeshift grave, Fox asked David the question that was burning a hole in his brain. He didn't like not being able to glimpse the future. What's our next move? David noticed a single car as it drove away in the distance. He felt a strange twinge. You cats will be waiting for your next assignment, he replied. Fox then uttered the question he really wanted to ask his leader. And you, Sergeant? I'm going after her.